Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome back to another NBA discussion. Man, you know what, man? Celtic fans, bring it in, bro. Come on, man. Bro, hug it out, man. Come on, man. Come on. There we go. There we go. Does that feel any better? I really hope it helps, man. Straight up, as we all know now, Jaylen Brown is going to be missing the remainder of the season. What's already been a really kind of like upside down season for the Celtics anyway. He's going to be missing the entire season now. Playoffs, pretty much. Hopefully playoffs, right? With torn ligaments in his wrist. It's a season-ending injury. And yeah, Jaylen Brown's no longer going to be playing basketball. I think that's how season-ending injuries tend to work. But at the same time, I do not think this is the end of the Celtics season. You know, some people might look at this and be like, hey, it's already been a struggling season. Like, let's just be done with it, man. You know, let's just, like, not even make the playoffs. You know, get the lottery pick, do all that stuff out there. I don't think that really needs to be the case, man. There's some things about this Celtics team that I think could be, like, sneaky good going into the playoffs that I really want to talk about. But before we do that, I need to ask you guys if you are enjoying these NBA discussions, then to leave a like on this video, man. It's so damn important, you know, when growing a new channel or, like, new series and like this on a channel. So, yeah, if you guys don't mind, hit that like button if you are enjoying these discussions. And I'm going to say, man, for every 100 likes this video gets, I will do one push-up my next video. That could be really bad. I cannot do a lot of push-ups. But regardless, man. Okay, so first off, what are we missing exactly for the rest of the season without Jaylen Brown? I mean, Jaylen Brown, he's been the Robin to Jason Tatum's Batman. He's the guy that's just always Mr. Reliable out there, right? On this season, the man's averaging 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists per game. We always know he's good defensively and shooting about 40% from NBA three-point line. But I digress. I love Jaylen Brown, guys. I was actually saying, man, like, around the All-Star break, like, I want this kid to be a starter in the All-Star game. I was like, he's been that good. And why I really actually have such a soft point for him is because just like the course of his career, like he's like a big part of, like, the heart and soul. Like, if Jason Tatum's the heart, then Jaylen Brown's the soul. And then, you know, Marcus Smart's like the muscle that makes everything else work. I think actually technically the heart is a muscle. I could be wrong about that. I did not pay attention in that class. I probably snuck off to the damn campus McDonald's or something. I don't really know, man. But regardless, like, what I absolutely love about Jaylen Brown is that he just keeps on getting better. And he didn't have to do that. Oftentimes, you know, especially a few years ago when he got that contract extension, NBA fans, NBA Twitter, everybody, we were all roasting him saying, hey, man, like, you don't deserve that money quite yet. And he very well could have said, nope, I don't. And could have just kind of tuned in, you know, for the basketball games, you know, got like 12 points, 2 assists, and a steal a game. And would be like, hey, I still got my bitch-ass contract, right? You see that happen quite often, man. A guy that I think of when it comes to kind of like tuning in until the contract rolls around is somebody like Hassan Whiteside. Hassan Whiteside did that for the Miami Heat for a while. And now he's getting paid $1 million to be a bench role. I don't even think he plays for the damn Kings right now, man. Oh, he's on the team, got $1 million. It's like you get to a point where it's like enough is enough. But now at this point, like Jaylen Brown, you look at him like, yo, this kid's underpaid. Like what this kid does for the Celtics team. And you know, and with the injury too, I think it's actually a good moment to kind of bring up the whole point of, because oftentimes, especially now when it comes to the NBA, we put so much pressure on young players. You know, we put the way basketball is playing now, you look at a kid that's like, well, he's 24, or Jason Tatum that's 22. You look at that, it's like, damn, bro, it's like, where's the championship at? Like, what's taking so long? It's like, damn, bro, 24 and 22 years old. Like, some guys don't even develop, you know, some guys don't make the damn NBA until that point. Kyle Kuzma was a 22-year-old rookie, I believe. So it's like, I feel like this is one moment to take a little bit of a step back, man. James Harden step back, not too far. Don't want to hit nothing. And the old me, man. He's only 20 years old. No, I mean, you know, Jaylen's 24, like I said, Jason's 22. But they're young players. These are guys that are still going to be top of the game for, like, the next decade at least. Mainly Jason, because he's only 22. But, you know, Jaylen's, you know, I mean, 34-year-old Jaylen, he'll be ring chasing at that point. But nonetheless, maybe it's ring chasing on the Celtics. At that point, it's not really ring chasing, though, because he's stuck it out with his team. Or maybe he goes somewhere else and comes back. I don't really know. But regardless, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It sucks in this season, but it's a season that's already been kind of bad anyway. What are they at right now? Right now, they're 35-33. 2-game losing streak. They're about 2 games in front of the Hornets right now, which, obviously LaMelo Ball's playing again. You don't really want to be in that play-in tournament because then, you might get stuck playing like the Wizards or somebody like that. You don't want that right now. Although I think Beal is kind of having some injury issues too, so I don't really know if he's going to be out for like long-term or not, but regardless. But I look at it, I'm looking at the roster, and like with Jaylen being out, obviously that makes your team worse. But sometimes these type of injuries can spark something within the team. It can make the Peyton Pritchards of the world step it up. I mean, he stepped them up. This dude was like been one of the better rookies on the season, right? I think he's kind of cooled off a little bit for the rest of the season, since like early on. But regardless, it can make maybe a guy like Jabari Parker being like, hey man, I was once like the second pick in the draft. Like, hey man, I'm gonna play like that for the postseason. It allows guys to really just kind of be like, or really one guy, Romeo Langford, man. If Romeo Langford could like get going somehow magically, it could be okay. But the 2 most important guys are going to be, starting with the important but least important of the 2, Evan Fournier. I mean, Evan Fournier, man, like this makes that trade from the trade deadline that much better. 2 second-round picks, they got Evan Fournier, who can be like a consistent like 20-point per game scorer when given the minutes. On this season right now, man, he's averaging like 12 points per game, but of course that's with like, limited shot attempts, not being like the main focus of the offense like it was with the Orlando Magic. But this is a guy that could be a 20-point per game scorer, so he's going to be extremely important. But the number 1 guy that we got to see return to form, man, Super Saiyan, bro. You know what I'm saying? I like that. You know what I'm saying? Super Saiyan, man. I never really watched Dragon Ball Z, but I know what it is, man. It's just the whole, yeah. That's my Super Saiyan, I guess, man. Kemba Walker. This is the time now where Kemba Walker has been his most important to the Boston Celtics. Because since they've really gotten him, we've all recognized that Kemba's a good point guard. I mean, he was amazing on the Charlotte Hornets. He's been fine for the Boston Celtics. He had really good moments, he had really bad moments. He's had injury issues, all sorts of things. But the issue I've been saying for a while now is the issue with Kemba, or really going back to Kyrie, is that neither one of those guys were really what this team needed at the point guard spot. Because obviously, they already had Jaylen and Jason for scoring. They needed guys out there. They needed a point guard like Alonzo Ball, I've been saying, that makes plays for others and plays some defense and sure can knock down the open 3, but it's not a necessity to win the game. But now Kemba Walker, that scoring is needed, man. We need like a 25-point per game, old school NBA All-Star Weekend, Charlotte Hornets, Kemba Walker back on this team, and I feel like we're gonna get it. I have a feeling about this team here, man. Especially former coach of the year and Brad Stevens. I mean, a great coach, a great leader. Like to me, this is even so, just as important for Brad Stevens. Like, a great leader needs to know how to take traumatic situations, downfalls, things that could look like weaknesses, and turn them to a strength. And that's exactly what Brad Stevens needs to do, man. He needs to look at every single one of these kids in the eyes and be like, hey, man, we're missing 25 points per game. You need to contribute to that on top of what you already do. And then I guess if you want to go, farther with things, obviously Marcus Smart's going to be really important too. The thing that kind of makes me a little nervous now, more so, for one, you obviously lose that defensive player. I mean, Marcus Smart obviously can be is a great defensive player, so they'll be okay right there. But really, like the bench depth, I mean, the depth of the Celtics have not been that great this season anyway. Like I said, Evan Fournier has been nice. Getting like a vet like that really helps out. But I mean, there's a lot of like young rookies, or not rookies. Well, they got a few rookies, but obviously a lot of young players on this team where it's like asking those guys to step up. It can be kind of a daunting task to do. So at that point, you could look towards free agency. I don't think it's going to happen. I know a lot of us are thinking the same thing. It's like, hey man, like Isaiah Thomas, he's available. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be fun. Or maybe like a Joe Johnson, just a vet like that where maybe we'll take some of those minutes away from some of like the young players out there that's not quite ready for this big moment. Like I said, Joe Johnson, I don't know, man. Jamal Crawford, sign up for a playoff run. Who really knows? I want to see Isaiah Thomas. But regardless, the injury sucks. It's a good, it seems like any great team, they have like those downfall injury moments, especially this season, and it's just happened at a really bad time for the Celtics, who are already like some having injury issues this season and stuff. But also we gotta keep in mind, man, y'all in the Eastern Conference with the super team Brooklyn Nets right now. So it's a good season for it to happen. I'm not saying that the fully healthy Celtics, if things would have worked out, could have got past a team like the Nets. I'm not saying that couldn't have happened. But I've been saying, man, I'm like, hey, the Nets are going to win it all. It's just like, we've seen these super teams before. We know how it turns out, man. As much as we want somebody else to win or we hope for somebody else to step up, we usually know how, usually the best team ends up winning the NBA championship, and I do think that's the Brooklyn Nets this season. So it's a good season if it happened, Celtics. These little like one season pauses where the team's not very good, it's not fun. I mean, the Toronto Raptors are going through it. The Warriors been going through it since Klay Thompson was injured, so it's going to happen. But I just think it's a good opportunity. Play motivational basketball. Have your young guys get some minutes. Have them give some playoff minutes. If you get swept, you get swept. It sucks, but whatever, right? But then that experience is going to translate to next season. And these guys are going to come back healthy and ready to go. And it's all going to be good from there, man. So I'm wishing best for the Celtic fans out there. It sucks losing a star player, especially around this time. Especially at a time where you need him the most. It's like you're trying to probably avoid the play-in tournament. And probably trying to work your way up in seeding, which at this point they are 2 games behind the Heat and the Hawks. Both teams have been playing relatively well out there, especially the Heat, I would say, of the two. The Hawks have been fine as of late, average. But yeah, man. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you guys go out and sign a free agent? Do you run with what you got out there? Do you just maybe stagnate the minutes and, maybe the rotation kind of condenses up and guys are playing more minutes? You do risk injury with that? Or are you just kind of on board of just saying like, hey, the season's a bust. Let's just move on, tank out the rest of the season, get ourselves a good draft pick or a decent draft pick and kind of, reorganize things come the off season. That's all I got though, man. Kemba Walker, you gotta step up. I think you will. I've seen you ball out in the past. We all have. That's why the Celtics signed you in the first place. But now it's time to play your best basketball ever.